I think God is the theory of God is not logical, right?
Okay.
So
I would say this mazid is the fact that the people, the inhabitants of paradise, will be able to see Allah with their two eyes in their heads, right? So
Another criteria to worship our Lord. Would it be fair for God to
Can we just take it?
18.
Yes, all the leaflets are free. Please take from them. Yes.
Oh, Quran as well.
Yes, the Quran's free as well. Just in the English language. Just as you said, just a transliteration summarized in one volume. So you can take them as well. Yes, they're free. Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you want a bag? Let me get you a bag.
Alhamdulillah. Wow. Dapat Al-Quran.
So it's all in the English language. Anything here. That's our websites on there. That's who we are. That's our websites and so forth. Any information, you know what I mean, and our things there.
we've got a.
It's logical, but then you said you look into it more, and then it's stupid. But I accept the stupid.
But
How does that sound? Though? How do you think that sounds?
I think God is the theory of God is not logical, right?
Okay.
So
What
so
sense? In what sense?
in what sense?
I'll tell-
Because it's a wizard in the sky.
Okay, no
to,
problem.
to me.
We can use use the example of your watch, right?
Yes.
If I were to say to you now
Yeah.
that the one who manufactured that watch
Yes.
didn't have any knowledge, would you accept that?
Well, knowledge in what sense?
Knowledge, any form of knowledge, he was completely ignorant, dumb, didn't know anything at all.
I would say no.
No,
because
he had to have
it's a-
knowledge
he had to
because
have
you know
knowledge, yeah.
that the complex nature of that watch that requires some sort of knowledge to
Yeah.
piece together.
Yeah.
What about ability? What if that person never had ability to put it together? Could he have done it?
He could have got help, but not on his
No
own.
ability whatsoever.
No.
Couldn't have done it. What about power? He had no power. Powerless.
He wouldn't have needed powers and strength.
Strength or
Yeah.
any type of power.
He would
movement.
strength power. Oh yeah,
Movement,
all of that. Yeah,
motion.
yeah. Not power as in the everlasting
No, no.
God power, but
But okay, and what about will? If he didn't desire to make that watch, would it be
Yeah.
on your wrist right now?
it would not. No.
It would not. So these are four qualities that are at the. These four qualities are the very least needed for that watch to exist. It had to have somebody with knowledge, power, ability,
And the will to do it.
and will to bring it into existence.
Yeah.
But you yourself are more complex than that watch. Yet you came about by something that, or nothing even. No knowledge, no desire, no will, no power, no ability, nothing. Just like that. Yet you are more. Your eyes, for example, it's not as though one's on the back of your head and the other one's on your foot, or they're in the right location.
The right location
if-
for where this planet is.
if one
placed, yeah.
if one was 2 centimeters to the right a little bit, you'd have difficulty seeing.
Yeah.
If your mouth was at the back of your neck,
But
you'd have difficulty eating and talking.
I do believe
Yeah.
that.
Whoever wants to benefit from it can benefit. Whoever wants to just reject it and just follow their desire, their whims and desires, can do that. But then on the day of judgment, you don't have that excuse. Oh Allah, I didn't know. However, I just followed my whims and desires. I didn't know. He could have either just created us and put us in paradise or hellfire. But then we will say, what did we do to deserve this? You see. But on that day, make no mistake, if you were from those who were believers in him, who followed his commands, who followed his legislation, then you will be rewarded for that and you'll be entered into paradise. However, if you
Vision
didn't,
of paradise, or do you not think?
we have a description.
Yeah.
We have a description. The Messenger, peace be upon him, he mentioned. In fact, there's many verses that speak about paradise.
Yeah, I should
gardens
read it, I guess.
between which rivers flow. Remember the hadith, which is the statements of the Messenger. They are very lengthy.
About the paradise?
No, remember the Quran, we believe, is the speech of Allah.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
But the hadith is basically the statements of the Messenger. So, for example, you know,
Oh, right, okay,
so,
yeah. So
even
that- yeah.
a companion would come to the messenger, for example, and he'll say, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, what does mazid mean?" Because you'll find this word in the Quran, mazid. We don't know what it means, mazid. What is it? What is this mazid? So the messenger, he would explain the Quran to them. He would say this mazid is the fact that the people, the inhabitants of paradise, will be able to see Allah with their two eyes in their heads, right? So imagine that it's not sufficient that a Muslim just reads the Quran and is sufficed with the Quran. That's it, because some verses are ambiguous in the Quran. They're not really. So you have to have the you have to go through the hadith which explain the Quran, and the hadith are very lengthy. There are many. And so, as it relates to paradise, you know, we've had, for example, the Messenger, peace be upon him, he said, "Fiha ma la aynun ra'at." That within it is what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no heart has ever comprehended. And he mentioned that the inhabitants of paradise will have whatever their heart's desires. You know, they'll have palaces made of gold.
And that's everlasting, isn't it?
Everlasting.
That's the thing I have trouble with, because imagine being trapped in an everlasting existence.
would never
However,
desire to leave.
you might not think that way.
After that before, but we would never desire to leave.
Hopefully not,
Remember,
yeah.
in paradise, there is no ill feeling, there's no boredom,
Yeah.
there's no sadness, there's no anger, there's no, you know, thirst or hunger. All of these, you know, experiences that we have
Or needs.
that we don't desire. Anger. Nobody likes to be angry. Nobody likes to be bored. Nobody likes to be tired, really. Yeah. Nobody likes to be depressed or sad. All of these qualities are not present in paradise. You will only experience happiness, joy. You know, you'll never get hungry, thirsty. You'll eat, and you'll never get full. So the companions, they asked the Messenger of Allah, "How is it that we're going to eat and never get full? How will we excrete?" He said, "You will excrete. Your excretion will be like sweat, and your sweat will be like fragrance, like a musk." Do you understand?
Yeah. We're going to have to wrap it up now, because he's been waiting for ages on us.
Again, we can go on for days.
But
you know,
that was
addressing
really
this.
interesting. Thank you very much for talking about it.
Let me
and
give you this book if you want to take.
Yeah.
You know, you want to take some more of our literature, but this is a kind of summarized book, you know, as to what, you know,
Sort of beginner
what is
type
Islam.
thing.
Yeah. There's more, honestly. As I said earlier, how did a man in the desert 1400 years ago know, for example, he mentioned that there'll come a time where the barefooted Bedouin Arab man will be competing with each other in building tall, lofty buildings.
Yeah.
And remember, at the Emirates, for example, where's the tallest building in the world now?
Tallest building, is it in Dubai, I think?
It's in Dubai, right?
Yeah,
The Burj Al Khalifa, and you've got Saudi Arabia competing now. So how did a man? I mean, remember, the Emirates was a desert 50 years ago. How did a man know that these certain
How
things
far
are going to
away were the pyramids?
Egypt.
Egypt?
How long?
Egypt.
No.
Thousands.
Well, I suppose you wouldn't have travelled there then.
But remember, he mentioned the barefooted Bedouin Arab. He mentioned a specific type of people.
Right, okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
not only that, at that time, they were only known for living in tents and traveling. And it was the Persians and the Romans. They were the ones that were known for building anything lofty.
Hey, Sadal, how you feel? So what you think?
Yeah, it's good. I've got some literature
No,
here to read.
about the explanation.
It's interesting, but it's it's very interesting.
How is explanation? You understand what?
I understand what you're saying completely. I was interested to hear his views, and there's some new stuff in there that I never heard before. I'm afraid it hasn't changed my opinion.
Of course not. It's not like.
But it's an intelligent discussion. So.
It's good.